Hello everybody, we're the Geeks and the Giants and we're back in our old format. For now. Let's see what happens in the future. But yeah, I am Enzo, this is my forever co-host Jum, and today we talk about Hello, Love, Goodbye. In celebration since the new film, Hello, Love Again, is coming out this week, I believe, when we release this.
What?
Yeah.
So it is like before sunset kind of like trilogy.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I didn't know that. All right.
Yeah, I guess this is our version of that.
Yeah, I didn't know they're kind of like doing a before trilogy kind of deal.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's... I don't know if it's a trilogy, but it definitely has a sequel.
I don't think it's... Yeah, there's gonna be a sequel. So we wait for like another like 10 to 20 years for the next one.
I mean, like, I guess Filipino sequels don't really come at the same rate like Western sequels do, like with like the before trilogy. Because here we're still waiting for like the Quezon movie to complete the General Luna trilogy, and we're waiting, we're waiting, man. But yeah, it stars Catherine Bernardo and Alden Richards as like OFWs in Hong Kong, and I do like that there's no sugarcoating of the life of an OFW here.
Very, very much so. Like, well, to be honest, yeah, we just have to be very frank with this. Is that we don't know what the life is like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of people here in the country do know what it's like and do experience that kind of life, but me and Enzo, we have not. So this is very fresh eyes to us.
Yeah.
But we did not know this is what like the usual, Filipino goes through when they go to another country. Yeah, it is a bit rough. It and like they're like doing their best to like scrounge up as much money as they can. Even on their break, they're still trying to do business.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to give them credit for that. Like, you know.
Yeah. And Joy is struggling to help her family to make ends meet, and she's trying to go to Canada, and like you have to pay Canadian dollars for all of that, and you're like, oh fuck, what the fuck do I do now? I thought we were done.
Yeah, like I think that's like majority of like almost every Filipino families that like, hey, make money abroad so we can bring the family here or bring money there, and it's the same case for Joy.
Yeah.
And you do see the struggle where she like you do see her like she's having a hard time with cash. You could tell that she's pretty much scraping at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to her like savings.
Yeah.
But she's still there like buying her little sister's shoes when she needs it for school.
Her brother for uniform.
Yeah. Her sister's uniform, brother's like rubber shoes.
Oh yeah. But you see how much like, well, we've seen it. Like, we've heard stories of like people just scraping by just to help their families when they work abroad, especially like something like someplace like Hong Kong, where the living conditions of like abroad people who work abroad are not the best. Like, you see like the infamous small Hong Kong apartments, and you're like, damn, you can fit an entire Hong Kong apartment in my room. Jesus.
Exactly. Yeah. Just like I did not know that was a situation there as well, where when you're designated as this kind of worker, you stay as this kind of worker. It's not like in Singapore where you could just job hunt from here to there.
Yeah.
If you see something that's good here, as long as you keep working, you're fine. But here, you are designated as this kind of employee. You could only get this kind of job.
Yeah.
And that is the struggle that Joyce had, like having to go through, because it doesn't pay as much.
Yeah.
And she is trying to pretty much get five of them out of where they are and into a better life. And as you said at the start, they don't sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
You see that when she's on a date with like what's his name? Alden Richards' character. Like, she is still working while like she's on a date with him. Man, I'm just like,
yeah.
A lot of times we're like, hey girl, stop, enjoy life, but like, you know she can.
Yeah. And like Alden Richards, his character is also interesting because he's like the eldest, but like he fell for a woman and went to America when he was like so close to being a resident in Hong Kong, and he messed it all up. And now his brother's like, "Well, you fucked us. You're supposed to be the elder one, and now we're stuck here." Dad was supposed to help us too, but Dad can't work as much anymore, or he can't anymore because he's bedridden. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you find out later, they have to bring in another brother, and you're like, oh damn,
the struggle.
right?
I'm like, oh god. Yeah. Again, you just see responsibilities after responsibilities when these people just want to live.
Yeah,
And like I can't really say that if this is like for everybody, but it clearly is for these two characters, where they're just making the best out of the little time that they have. Joy, she would like. I think at one scene she was up for like maybe already 48 hours.
yeah,
You know, like she got home late. She got home late. Her alarm went off.
yeah,
She brought the little girl to school. She forgot the little girl.
yeah,
Because she went to her because the mom was a piece of shit and like called her in the middle of work.
yeah,
And when she got back, she got in trouble because she left the little girl for like hours.
yeah.
And then she went out on a date with
Alden Richards. Yeah,
Alden's character. And her alarm goes off again. So I'm like, girl, you've been up for 2 days.
right.
Like the struggle is real. I'm like, shit.
And like you really see how like when you don't have privilege, you can really choose your situation. Like she's a nursing student, and she's working as a maid in Hong Kong with a family who's also not the richest. Because at one point the employer is like, "I can't keep you, I can't."
Yeah.
Um,
And like
bills are
they're
going
already
up,
trying to
and I can't.
negotiate.
Yeah, they're trying to
Yeah.
negotiate.
Yeah, like they're negotiating and they're like, hey, can you pay? You could pay half as long as I keep getting money. It's fine, but it's also illegal.
Yeah,
Yeah. So again, I'm not entirely familiar with the rules of Hong Kong,
yeah,
so I have no opinion or say in it.
yeah. You also see you mentioned like they all try to scrape by. Like that's why they enter stuff like beauty pageants, like Joy did, just to be like, hey, there's a shot at me winning this amount of money. So like,
Yeah.
I might as well shoot my shot for this. It's like I think if I remember correctly, it was like in dollars too, and you're like, damn,
Yeah.
fuck.
Like it was when I saw the check, it was like $3,000. So
I'm not sure how much that is.
150,000.
Yeah. And that's a lot. Like that would help in her like visa case. But like I do like the questions this movie gives of like, would you rather stay with the one you love or take a shot at having a better life?
Yeah, or like following your dreams. And yeah, we did kind of gloss over that. Like, Alden Richards and Joy, they kind of like have this whole will they, won't they?
Yeah.
She's too busy to be in a relationship, but he's really forcing it. Not gonna, I kind of got a bit annoyed. I'm like, bruh.
Right.
I don't know if that would work here in real life.
Yeah.
Where you keep bugging somebody who's clearly just losing their mind with their job.
Yeah, you're just like, please, and they're like, no, please.
Yeah, but clearly he's doing his best to help. He's like trying to get her mind off of a lot of things.
Yeah.
That's nice. Again, I don't know if it will work in real life. But yeah, and yeah, they pretty much have a moment where, hey, you're gonna be gone in 2 months. Why don't we just have this little thing?
Yeah.
You know, let's make it work for 2 months, and then once you're gone, you're gone.
Yeah. Also glad they didn't do the usual Pinoy movie trope where like at one point one of them cheats on each other and it's a whole third act deal breaker, and you're like, what the fuck do we do now?
Like the families in a circle, like yelling at each other, and I'm like,
yeah.
nah, that wasn't the case. I say that was kind of it was a beautiful moment. I will say there was one point where I was a little bit where Alden Richards says, "I love you." Right. They have this whole thing, like if you say "I love you," you don't really mean it.
Yeah.
But if you say "I don't love you," you do mean.
Yeah.
But they finally confess to each other, and I forgot what he said, but it was a little too cringy for me. It was like giga a terabyte love you kind of deal. I forgot what he said,
Right.
but I was just like, I feel like you could have delivered that a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, the thing with the mom at the end and the whole family situation for Joy, I was like, oh, that's so
Oh my God.
unfortunate. That's
That
so
was
sad.
yeah. Like that is also a situation that we're not very familiar with. Is
Yeah.
that sometimes, again, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if this is a very common thing. Yeah, the mother pretty much marries, even though she has a husband and children.
Yeah.
Like back home, she marries a
Hong
like a
Kong
Hong Kong
citizen.
citizen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she pretty much just has a life there and sends money
Back to
that place, or yeah, or however it works. And I'm just like, oh, that's rough. And
Yeah.
she wants to stay there because it's now comfortable, even though
Yeah.
there might be a bit of abuse.
I
I'm not
mean,
sure.
a bit.
Okay, there's clearly abuse.
Yeah.
And like even Joy was kind of just like,
What do you do this?
yeah, you made your decision. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And they do end amicably. I guess they were setting up for hopes of a sequel. Again, I don't think sequels get greenlit as quickly as like, see, an MCU movie would here.
I feel like it's appropriate. You know,
Yeah.
we feel that like this was released in 2019, 2020.
Yeah.
With that amount of time, it kind of feels like we kind of grew with them.
Yeah.
Same with the 4
Trilogy.
trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it took a amount of time, but yeah, it was heartbreaking. The scene where they're in the apartment, and Alden Richards' character is just like, "Hey, I could help you stay here. I could give you a really nice life here in Hong Kong," but she doesn't want to stay.
Yeah.
She has different dreams, and we have this whole discussion of like, oh, I love you. I'm giving you everything I can give.
Yeah.
Isn't that enough? Where she was like, is it selfish for me to live my dream?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, not gonna lie, this is a very smart back and forth, because with a country filled with like utang loob na kind of utang loob means like, oh, you, because somebody gave you this, you should give back.
Yeah.
It's a very common culture here where sometimes it gets to a point where it's like a little unfair.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they kind of delved within this problem where it's like, I kind of like how they went at it, where she's just like, I want to follow my dream. I want to live my life, not somebody else's, even though it leads to a comfortable life.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, damn.
Right.
Yeah.
Very like gray answers and gray questions, and you're like, huh, I respect the movie for doing this.
Yeah. Like, you could clearly still be correct if you want to follow or go against her ideals, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah, stay because of love, or go because you want to see the world and have better potential out there
Yeah.
and build yourself. And like, both are correct.
Yeah. All right. Anything else to add before we wrap this up?
I mean, it was kind of nice to see them like just spend their last 5 days together. I do like it that with that like that family that she was kind of stuck with, there is like a bit of like, hey, we respect you. You know, like, our daughter loves you clearly.
Yeah.
You know, the grandmother like had that like Enzo Ferrari, Ken Miles, just like, you know.
I respect you. And you're like, oh, all right, Grandma, thank you. So what would you rate Hello Love Goodbye?
Oh, Love Goodbye. I would say I was very surprised when you chose this one. Again, I was just like, I really hope this is a good romantic Filipino movie.
Yeah.
This is my first time watching it. Yeah. You know? But I do like Catherine Bernardo and like Alden Richards. I do see them in a lot of things, and Alden Richards being the meme that he is. He's that guy. Um, I was very surprised with the plot in of itself. Like there are the moments where I'm just like, you know, like with him confessing his love.
Yeah.
And like there are some moments where I'm just like, oh, I can kind of live with some of these moments, and a lot of cheesy jokes thrown here and there.
Oh yeah.
Given by the friend of Alden Richards. His name is Ethan. Jesus Christ. Ethan Hawke. Before Sunset.
Coincidence?
Anyway.
I think not.
I think not. No. Yeah, I would give this one like a solid 8 because the story is good.
Yeah.
The message within itself is good, and it goes against the grain with a lot of mentality here in the country. And I'm like, yeah, and there is still that bittersweet moment of like, hey, we both love each other. We clearly love each other. Ethan has a ring prepared if ever she comes back.
Yeah.
And well, I guess there's a sequel, so she's coming back.
Yeah.
Joy's gonna try following her dreams and finally has that burden of her family off her shoulders.
Yeah.
Like the mom wants to stay. The dad clearly has let go of the mother. He's like, you know, I feel like she has a better life there because after the incident. Anyway, so it's an 8 out of 10 for me. I do like the messages that they kind of thrown in here. There are a lot of cheesy lines. I will say, if you're not into those, you can look past it. But the message in of itself is still nice. I feel like a lot of people should watch this movie, considering like the message behind the relationship between the two main characters. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll give this an 8 as well. Like, I think it's a pretty good movie. Not just a Filipino movie, because that's kind of putting it in a box. But overall, it's a pretty good romantic movie. And, like, it gives, again, very big, great questions. And it gives very great answers as well. And you're like, there's no one-sided question or answer. You're just like, yeah, this is just how life is for people trying to make a living, trying to shoot their shot at a better life, and like while also being like, maybe there's the chance at romance somewhere, but like I kind of want to pursue my dream because that's what I've been working for, and like there have already been things that say no, but I've kept chugging on until it becomes a yes. So I don't want to waste that shot. And like by the end, you're like, all right, I respect that, and I guess we'll see what happens in the sequel, which again I think comes out Wednesday this week. So yeah.
Will we watch it? Maybe. Not gonna lie, I'm like,
all right.
After seeing this, I'm like, come on. Like, I'm not as invested as I was with like Ethan Hawke and that French actress. Forgot her name. So sorry, but like, you know, you're kind of like, I don't want to see how it goes. You know?
Yeah, and I'm just curious to see what happens. And like again, it's just rare for a Filipino movie to have a sequel, and you're just like, wow, I hope it turns out well. You know?
Yeah.
Like
I do think that the pandemic kind of contributed to them not having
that. That's true. There's also a Bus 2 next year, I think.
Oh yeah, well for sure we're gonna watch that.
Yeah, definitely. To the audience watching, if you're from the Philippines or if you're Philippine abroad, what movies should we tackle? Like, what local movies should we also do? Because we try to do these movies when the time is right, and like try to show a spotlight on our local film industry. Because, well, one, we're Filipino. Two, I think it should be more celebrated, especially among us.
Yeah, because we do have that stigma of like, oh, if it's a Filipino movie, it's gonna be a man movie.
Yeah.
When a lot of times I'm like, yo, we're all missing out.
Yeah. And like, the actors and directors are already being like, can we get rid of that stigma? And I agree. Like, should give them a shot. Like, if it's a miss, it's a miss. If it's a success, it's a success. It's basically every other movie from abroad.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like, you know, sometimes we get Fast and Furious 5, wow, and like sometimes we get Fast and Furious 7.
10. Or yeah,
6,
7, 10, whatever.
No, sorry. 6 and 7 are good. 6 and 7 are good. My bad.
Yeah, anything after that, you're just like, oh, they're in space now. Okay.
You know, it just happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, me and Enzo are gonna do our due diligence and like our part to just like spread the word of like, hey, Filipino cinema is also really good. By the way, I think we should have done that. Outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was for Halloween, man. We missed out.
Yeah, missed out. Maybe. I mean, there are a couple of Halloween or horror movies dropping before Christmas, so maybe we can pair it up. Why not?
We could squeeze it in.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, that's been our video for Hello, Love, Goodbye. If you guys like what you see here, please leave a like, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. We're also on Spotify and TikTok to see your best and funniest moments, Spotify to hear us on the go. In the video, I'm Zoe, this voices on TikTok, and ends Wolf on Letterboxd. Where can I find you?
You can find me at JohnJM_ on Instagram and his my account.
And until the next time, we'll see you then. Bye, everybody.
Ciao.